सर वेलकम ऑन भुवनेश माथुर चैनल। आपने हमारे लिए टाइम निकाला है, मिलियन थैंक्स वंस अगेन टू यू सर। सर सबसे पहले मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा कि आप लॉ के
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be on your channel. Yes, please.
जी सर मेरा पहला ये कहना होगा, यू बीइंग अ लॉ स्टूडेंट यू आर वेरी ब्राइट, यू वर अ सक्सेसफुल लॉयर, सफल अधिवक्ता रहे सर आप। कानूनी शिक्षा में आज आपका जाना माना नाम है सर। मैं अपने आप को रोक नहीं पा रहा हूं। मैं सवाल पहला ये करूंगा कि व्हाट फैक्टर्स मोटिवेटेड यू टू जॉइन लॉ एज अ प्रोफेशन। सर ये हमारे व्यूअर्स को भी बड़ा इंतजार है इस चीज का कि 50+ इयर्स का आपका कैरियर है सर, तीनों फील्ड में आप रहे हैं। जरा हमको डिटेल्स में इलेबोरेट करके समझाइए सर। दिस इंटरव्यू विल बी वेरी बेनिफिशियल टू आवर यंगर्स।
You have said so many good things about me. It's very good. But I may tell you, I have never been a brilliant student. Of course,
yes.
I was a successful lawyer. But I may tell you my career as a student first. I did my secondary in the year 1963. Those days it was not 10+2. High school was abolished, so it was 11 years only.
Yes, sir.
I was a science student. And when it comes to motivation, I may tell you that I had no option. It was not a motivation because my performance in the higher secondary was such that most of my friends, they were inclined for engineering and they could go to the engineering college. That was the time when people had a first choice for engineering, then medical, and mostly going for BSc to become a teacher in the university, college, or doing B.Ed and going to be a teacher. That was the total area which was available those days. But my performance was so poor that I could neither be engineer, could be admitted in engineering college, nor in the BSc, and therefore I had to go for a BA. Of course, as a school student, the only good thing was that I was a good debater. So I won award in debates, and but this did not continue in college. I did not receive any award in the college. Of course, I won some award for general knowledge competition or essay competition and this. But I had a good record as a NCC cadet, and I was a senior under officer. I also attended Republic Day parade. It was very prestigious, and therefore I wanted to be a commissioned officer in the army. But I could not succeed there also. And therefore, after doing, I had no option but to join law. And I thought that I will, those days it was only a 2 years law course, neither 3 years or 5 years, these are all later on. It was a 2-year law course, and that too in the evening. So I used to attend evening classes, and I thought that I will prepare for the RAS examination. I never thought of IAS also. But there were no vacancy for RAS those days. And I was for the RPS few posts of about 14 and 5 posts for account services. But luckily, I was selected for account services.
Yes, sir.
But I was always poor in mathematics. And therefore, I said I can't do this accounts business. But opportunity I had somehow I came to Jodhpur sometime and visited High Court. And therefore I thought that I must practice in High Court at Jodhpur. So I would say that neither there was any motivation nor option. It is somehow I carried in 66 I did law, and in 68 I passed my law examination and shifted to Jodhpur for practicing. And it's all wishes of the parents and the God that I could succeed later on. So this is all my student career.
Sir, nonetheless, you gave many excellent judgments in your due course of High Court as a judge when you became in 1994 till 2007. You were there as a judge in High Court, and no sooner in 2007 you became Vice Chancellor of National Law University, Jodhpur. So, don't you see it's a great achievement, sir? Don't you see all these great achievements? All these are very great
Because
achievements.
it has, pardon, last you said. What you said in the last question, lastly.
Yes, sir. Sir, I am asking that in 1994 you became judge of High Court, and in 2007 you retired from the services. Then you were promoted as Vice Chancellor of National Law University, Jodhpur. So, sir, do you don't you see all these things a great feather in a cap, sir?
I don't know. Everything in my life has gone, nothing extraordinary. It went on working. One thing is definitely there that when I started practice,
Yes,
I was
sir.
very successful at a very early stage. I was the
Yes, sir.
first lawyer in my family, but when I
Yes, sir.
came to Jodhpur, I think my leadership of NCC and my this profile of debate and this all that helped me in the profession.
Yes.
And then, in fact, I became a very senior lawyer, and my performance was much more better than as a judge. But as a lawyer, I was elected to the Bar Council of Rajasthan. I remained chairman of the Rajasthan Bar Council. That is my leadership quality. And then I went to the All India Bar, and I was. Uh, I'm referring to this for this reason that why I became a vice chancellor. In fact, my interest in the legal education in 1983, 84 to 87, I was a member of the Bar Council of India, which is the top body of the lawyers. And I was a member of the Legal Education Committee, which is the supreme body for the legal education. This was the time when I was in the company of great people like Justice Hidayatullah, who was the Vice President of India then. The Ram Jatmalani, Rajendra Singh, I was one among the top 4 lawyers of the country. And eminent professors like Professor Upendra Bakshi, who is still a good friend of mine. And therefore, I had an interest in the legal education. So, as far as the judgeship is concerned, there again, in the 1994, I was appointed as a judge in the High Court of Rajasthan. But having a transfer policy, within 4 days, I was transferred to Gujarat.
Okay, sir.
Though I did not like, because my wife was in service as a professor in the university. It disturbed my family. But I gained a lot in Gujarat, because
Yes,
the
sir.
litigation profile of Gujarat was very high, and the very big lawyers from the Bombay and Ahmedabad and Delhi used to appear. That built up. So my basic training as a judge is of the Gujarat High Court, and I was in a company of one of the best judges there and the top lawyers, and that built me and that helped me in delivering good judgments, good or bad, whatever. But I consider that people say that they are good judgments. This is how. And when I retired, the appointment in the National Law University is made by a search committee of. There is no political interference, or this is one university where politics have nothing to do in the appointment. Even the judges do not directly appoint. It is a search committee which makes a search, and no less than the former Chief Justice of India, and the Solicitor General, they are in the search committee. And they said, since Justice Mathur, who had been the pioneer in the legal education of 5-year law courts, his services should be more utilized in the legal education. He has already done a lot of adjudication work, and therefore this is how I could be in the National Law University. And one thing I can tell you, in my life, I have been a student, lawyer, and then a judge, and thereafter a vice chancellor. And I can tell you, as a Vice-Chancellor, I was not simply administrative head, but
Yes.
I was a teacher. I was taking class every day, going to the class, and I was doing everything which a teacher should do. And my best part of my life is in academics, which I consider.
Sir, it means you were very much open to the new learnings, new lessons in life. These things give me this feeling, sir. So in this connection, I will ask you another question. How do you see law as a career option for younger generation of today?
Bhuvnesh, this is a good question. And this cannot be responded in a word, but I will take your more time on it.
Yeah, sir.
Because
Please.
when you come to the career option,
Yes, sir.
as I said that I had no option.
Okay.
I just moved and I just rolled into it.
Yes.
The circumstances rolled me and brought me here, and this is how it went on. But today, you say this option was to me in 1966 when I had no option, but now it is almost 56 years.
Yes.
The things have greatly changed now. It is, of course, true in 1966 also when I joined law. I heard a lot about the lawyers as a profession. Our great leaders in the country, they were lawyers, had a lot of lucrative practice, big lawyer, a lot of money in the profession. That was, of course, there. But irrespective of that, comparing with the engineering, medical, civil services, or academics, the legal profession was never considered to be a choice above all these professions.
Yes, sir.
In the last, it will go to the legal profession. It was not a first choice. And otherwise also was not a crowded profession. But now the things have dramatically changed.
Yes, sir.
There are various reasons, because a change in the social, economic, political reasons are there. There is one of the things is there is a lot of technological development, and the most important is the globalization,
Yes.
where particularly the trade and business in the global field. So this all involves a very tedious law, and the profile of the legal profession has so greatly changed that now is on the top, one of the most demanding profession.
Yes, sir.
It is area. You have a fantastic earning.
Yes, sir.
There's no other profession of that where you can have an incomes in crores and crores, and many of them are paying income tax in crores. The lawyers, they are paying it. Then you acquire a very high stature in it. A lawyer can become a judge, he can be a chief justice, supreme judge, he can be a chief minister. So many high positions one acquire, there's no end to it. And therefore it's a very rewarding profession as such. Now, if we look to the present profile,
Yes, sir.
it will be interesting to understand this. And I will divide it into how the traditional line, because one thing is there, you cannot understand a profile unless you know what was there, what is the traditionally what was there, and now from which point to which point it has gone.
Yes,
and therefore, definitely, though structurally there is no change into it. Even today, if you talk of the legal profession, in the common man, it is Vakil Sahab and Judge Sahab.
Yes, sir.
Not beyond this. You ask any law means कि भाई वकील बनेगा कि जज बनेगा, ये बन जाएंगे, वो हो जाएगा, इससे ज्यादा नहीं है.
We don't understand, sir.
That is what is there. But now you to understand the legal profession, it has various parts into it. The most important part, which is the visible part, as I said, Vakil Sahab and Judge Sahab, that is the litigation part. And the traditional litigation, as when we entered in the profession and prior to that, that we knew in our town there was a lawyer broadly known as this is a lawyer on the civil side, this is a lawyer on the criminal side. These were the two broadly lines. And we had a traditional litigation, property dispute, family dispute, mortgage dispute, rent control matters, money maintenance, and some sort of matrimonial matters, motor accident cases, and company law. And these were the cases. And company matters were there only, but the civil lawyers used to deal with the company matters also.
Yes.
Then some certain revenue matters, and you had a board of revenue in Ajmer. Most of the people knowing land revenue matters will go to the board of revenue. As far as the criminal cases are concerned, मारपीट के केस हैं, हत्या के केस हैं, या बलात्कार, rape cases were there. Some corruption cases are there. Some miscellaneous act cases were there. Say excise cases, narcotics. These are the cases on which. Then tax matters were also there, mostly income tax and sales tax. In the High Court, you had the appellate and revisional jurisdiction. And a writ jurisdiction was a new jurisdiction in 70s. But there were mostly service matters were there. Miscellaneous matters like mining, cooperative, motor vehicle, these were the cases. So this was the litigation profile. But this litigation profile has tremendously changed now. This has expanded. You'll excuse me, it will take little time, but it's necessary, necessary to explain.
Yeah.
Now, whatever a civil lawyer was doing civil cases, and he was also doing the company law cases or these cases. But now the corporate world in itself has the big word. You need a corporate lawyers now. You need a infrastructure lawyers that deals with the land acquisition and all. You see a lot of infrastructure projects government are coming now. You see roads are being constructed, buildings are being constructed, all sort of infrastructures when they are coming up. Then naturally, this is in a land acquisition. This needs the ordinary civil lawyers cannot undertake this sort of litigation now. Similarly, in cases you had only motor accident means only motor accident. But now accident is not simply a motor accident. You have an insurance. A great area of insurance has been there. Now national, international insurance companies have come to India, to our country. And therefore, now it is not the civil lawyer, but it is the corporate lawyer. You have a commercial courts in every district now, which are ordinary district is dealing with them. And lot of law now in which you need a very high specialization. Say insolvency and bankruptcy, railway tribunals have called, consumer protection is there, motor accident courts are there, real estate litigation is there, RTI, army tribunals, intellectual property right, arbitration, national and international arbitration, cooperative movements. So you see how large area it has. Even if you criminal you deal with, it was simply marpeat or rape cases or a murder cases is no. Now you see that in criminal cases also, you see day in, day out, it's like cyber crime.
Yes,
Most ordinary lawyer of the criminal side who are dealing with the murder or rape case understands about the cyber law. It's very difficult for their lawyer to deal with unless you have a specialization into it. And therefore, a lot of scandals are coming up. They are so nice it is. Who will understand all those? 2G is a criminal case, criminal trial. But to understand 2G, how can you deal with those cases? That ultimately, the lawyers have to deal with during the trial, all these cases. So the criminal law is not simply murder or a rape or hurt. MLA, MP courts are there. Then CBI case courts are there. Now enforcement director everywhere is there. Enforcement, they are filing. The big heroes are accused there. So many people are involved there. Income tax is there. Then Another thing is that your 138 Negotiable Instrument Act, now a lot of bank bounce cases, they have tremendously increased now, which were we had not seen for years those type of cases. In our life as a lawyer, I never seen those cases now, but I had to deal with them as a judge. Now complaint cases, cheating, etc., which were people were filing a money recovery suit. Now people recover by filing a criminal complaint. And so as in the High Court, the litigation has changed. Earlier, we had a service litigation or some miscellaneous writ petitions or this thing. Now, before going to the service, even for an admission in a medical college, engineering college, or a law college, the litigation starts from there, from the admission.
Yes,
And before the recruitment starts, the litigation starts. And things have gone to the extent that when we had a judgment from the Supreme Court in a 2G case, one of the Professor Upendra Bakshi, a very eminent professor, he commented on the judgment and he said that may be a good judgment in law, but a bad judgment in economics. A very eminent lawyer, Salve, he says in a few days back that for the bad economy of the country, the Supreme Court is responsible. I would say, understand what the Supreme Court has to do with the economy. But he said that the 2G case or coal case, things doesn't go by ethics. You must understand the economics also. So now the law is not that way. Always say, Upakshi says that judge should know not simply the law. He should also know the economics. He should understand so many other things. So its profiles has tremendously changed. And thus, with this expansion, I've given you the background why it is demanding, because the catchment area, its expansion is so huge that now is in the world legal market of India is second. Top. This is the legal market, and that is why today the law graduates are in great demand.
Yes, sir.
And I may tell you one thing, that this is not only the litigation profile I was referring to you, but the law graduates are required even what you call service trade. Outsourcing is of the engineers from there. Engineering in the IT sector, we heard about outsourcing and all these things. But now LPO and BPO, legal outsourcing, that is there, and you need a law graduates. Number of law graduates are being engaged there. They are paid high salary by LPOs and BPOs because you need them. Because you are a service provider. And this is all I have provided, a litigation profile I haven't given to you. Now, lawyers are required in various sectors, and in addition to the traditional work has not gone. Traditional is still there. That requires from Patwari to Tehsildar to the sub-divisional officer to the collector, and it is going to this district level to the High Court and Supreme Court. You need all types of lawyers, and you have various tribunals where there is a need of the lawyers. Farmer need a lawyer, labor need a lawyer, rich person need a lawyer, elected, non-elected, everybody need a lawyer.
Yes.
And that is the high profile you have. Now, if you look to the job profile, is very interesting. I will emphasize on job profile for the reason that when you choose a career, why you want to be, you must understand that what a job you will have to undertake. So what sort of jobs you are going to take it. Now, the first is there's a litigation. The mostly area is covered by the litigation. I may say in various areas, but mostly law is by the litigation. And in the litigation, even if there are lakhs and lakhs lawyers in the country, but if you ask somebody to give the name of the top lawyers in the country, you can count only 5 to 10.
Yes, sir.
So there are varieties. So these 5 to 10 are on the national level, these 5 to 10 are on the state level, who are the best 10 lawyers in the state of Rajasthan, who are on the district, who are on the tahsildars. And therefore, you have to see the categories also, that what achievement you made. Then you need a mediocre lawyer, excellent lawyers are there, senior advocates are there, mediocres are there, और poor lawyers are there कि वकालत चलती ही नहीं है. ये भी एक बहुत बड़ी क्लास है, ज्यादा परसेंटेज की तो नहीं चलती है. वकालत ही नहीं चली तो फिर आपने ऑप्ट तो कर लिया. Other day you will say that sir, you have shown so much big profile, but I have become a lawyer, but I am not getting the case. Yes. What to do? So there you have to be very careful. And incidentally, I may mention when I said that advocates, under the advocate, there is an advocate, they are enrolled. And after some time, if your excellence is there, all judges of the Supreme High Court meet and they designate you as a senior lawyer. There in the Supreme Court, there are advocate on record. Because only such of the lawyers who have after 5 years of practice, who have passed the lawyer's advocate on record examination can be the advocate on record. It's a very tough examination. And the filing can be done only through the advocate on record. And you see the position. The top on the advocate is an Attorney General of India. Now, Attorney General is a person of the status of the cabinet rank minister. He's a constitutional position. He is the chief advisor of the government, and he is the biggest lawyer, the first lawyer of the country. Then you have a Solicitor General, additional Solicitor General, panel lawyers, a fleet of lawyers in the government departments. Similarly, in the state, you have an Advocate General, additional Advocate General, many government advocates, panel lawyers. This is all the litigation profile and profile job. Now I'm coming to a very important area, which has emerged now, which was not earlier during our time, which I'm referring as law firm culture. This will require your attention more.
Yes, sir. Please.
Because during our time, there were law firms, but very few law firms throughout the country. We have heard about Mullah in Bombay. Some Parsi firms or some 1 or 2 firms in Calcutta or somewhere, but I didn't see in Rajasthan any law firm. There was no law firm culture as such. But now the law firms have come up, and I can tell you that in our country presently there might be more than 500 law firms.
Okay, sir.
Now, law firms culture, I'm referring to you that when you will talk about going to the NLUs or some course of law study, you will have the students will have to take a decision. Ultimately, simply adopting law is not sufficient.
Yes.
The law has various areas where number one, I showed litigation. Litigation is the largest area, but its success rate you don't know. To become an advocate is okay, you can be topmost at home and you may not earn anything. But law firm where you have a stable income. Therefore, I'm mentioning this about that. It is a big option when you opt for law. So I may refer in India, some of the best law firms are, on the top is Amarchand Mangaldas.
Yes.
Amarchand Mangaldas has about, whatever I could get it from the internet, is about 120 partners and about 700 lawyers in that firm. And another is Sharoff and Sharoff. Actually, this was the firm which was partitioned now. So Amarchand Mangaldas has become Amarchand Mangaldas and Sharoff. Then you have the Khetan. You have Luthra and Luthra, AZB, Trilegal, J. Sagar. These are the top law firms in the country.
Okay, sir.
These law firms, in addition to litigation, these law firms are also engaged in litigation also, but majority of their work is a corporate work. They do some civil work, constitutional, criminal cases also they are there, but their major time is work is in the corporate sector. They work mostly. In the litigation, I may tell you how they work. Suppose ordinary litigant doesn't go to the law firm because they are very costly and their charges are very high. And there are specialized small law firms also. They may take some sort of cases. But suppose there is a richest person like Ambani or something, or if he has a tax issue or some issues. Now, earlier they will engage a lawyer, they will have some law officer in their office and he is a lawyer of Ambani. But now they don't go directly to the lawyer, they engage a big law firm. Now, the advantage with the law firm is, as I said, there are 700 lawyers with them, 120 partners. 120 partners are also the lawyers there. Now, the biggest advantage is there is a lot of research work, which ordinarily as a lawyer, we were not having that. We were doing a research on our own. About now, a great research on the issues. When the case is referred to them, then it is referred, and they on their own research also decide who should be the lawyers. Then they approach and brief the advocates, and if it is in Supreme Court, to advocate on record, and then they brief the senior advocate, that is whole channel. Now, you will note now that what are the areas which they are working. Now, antitrust, which was under the monopoly law, or competition commission now, capital market, corporate and commercial dispute, merger and acquisition. Merger and acquisition worldwide is a big subject. And use money in merger or acquisition, I can tell you, it's very difficult. We don't get a teacher who can teach merger and acquisition. I know during my days in NLU, one of the top firm in the world, Herbert Smith, because many law firms are sending teachers to the law colleges because they say that these students will not be able to handle their work. So this is the merger and acquisition, tax matters, finance, regulatory bodies, infrastructure, energy, sports. You will ask sports. Sports has a lot of issues. Now, Board of Control is not a small cricket. It has a huge business. So sports law in itself is a law firm dealing only sports issues. Private equity, media entertainment, that is all your cases of Arnab Goswami or something, or media, all these cases when they go to the court, or the film actors or narcotics cases, and so many cases they go to the law firm. Then information technology, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, these all are there. Pharmaceutical issues are there. Then WTO, worldwide is a greater issue. Worldwide WTO, you have to the custom, anti-dumping duty, intellectual property rights, international trade and custom, procurement. Now it's not that you take a contract for construction of a road and there is a settled contract on which you sign. No, procurement is in a big subject. I know some of even the government is sending them. I know one of the IAS officer in Rajasthan, he studied LLM in procurement in New York University for 1 year. Procurement is a very big subject for the contract. What are bilateral treaties? So going to law firm, this litigation profile I showed you the litigation profile. Now it comes the law profile. It's very difficult. No ordinary caliber people can take up. Now if I was a lawyer in those days, this subject which I am, even I had to note down them just to speak to you. It's not so easy to tell them. So these are the areas on which. But when this profile, some has to make an option. I must tell you that if a fresh law graduate, if he joins a law firm, he is taken as an intern, then associate, and then the partner. But now a lawyer, a person after doing graduation may not earn even 5,000 rupees as a lawyer. काले कोट के धुलाई के पैसे भी निकलेंगे, ऐसा लोग कह देते हैं. So I don't know, but there is a placement. Even when he is a student of 4th year, some law firm will engage him and ensure him that after your graduation, next day you come to us and start doing, and your salary may be in between 16 to 30 lakh per annum. तो आप बताइए, LLB पास करते ही IAS हो जाएंगे तो भी जो है 60-70 हजार रुपए मिलेंगे, लेकिन यहाँ तो you are getting around 2 lakh of rupees just after graduation. But I will explain you that it's not that everybody get it.
Yes, sir.
It's simply because you got an admission and then you say 16 to 30 lakh. It's not. It has a different categories. You may get 16 to 30 lakh. Those who are the very bright and topper who has shown their academic excellence in these universities or colleges. Then there might be second category, down NLUs or down universities, or may get about 10 to 14 lakh. And most of them, this is all up to 25%, 30% is a 70%, they all will be in 5 to 10 lakhs rupees per annum. That will in the law firm. Law firm, after all, they are also business people. They are not distributing money like this. They are not a government tax revenue. They don't distribute salary like this. Every money they are to earn. So this is the area I have told about the law firm. Then there is another litigation area, which is a non-litigation area. You have a law firms which is non-litigating. They don't go to the court. This law firm, you only seek advice from them. These are the people who examines clients' issues regarding their property or certain things, advise them on this, and have most of the time conference with them. And after the conference, they mostly work on the desk. Litigating is very lucrative that way, or law firm they are doing it. But these are the people who sit in office only. They are not going anywhere else. But their area is they read the document, they prepare the documents, agreement, contract, sale and purchase, merger and acquisitions, stamp duties, license fee, real estate issues, and the whole issue is they come. The client, suppose someone has to establish an industry somewhere, they approach to these firms and they say that we are establishing, we need a land, and these are the areas where we are purchasing the land. You kindly advise us. They say that these are the agreements and these are the contracts, to kindly examine us and advise us. So they examine all these issues. They are specialized, and their whole job is to ensure that their clients do not enter into litigation later on. In a one way, even the big law firms refers the matters to the non-litigating law firm for examining their documents and this thing. They said kindly go first to get this examined from that non-litigating law firm. Then we will examine them, let them be sure about it. It is like your private hospitals. कई लोगों को refer करते हैं ना, blood report लाओ, वो लाओ, ये कराओ. So such sort of things are there. So this is. But one thing I will tell you, I don't want to discourage girls for the litigation, but I consider that the non-litigation work is more suitable for the girls. And in most of the litigation firm, largely the girls and the ladies are there. Because litigation is okay, you can be a judge, you can be chief justice, judge, solicitor, everything. There's nobody denying. But sometimes there are a lot of difficulty because lawyer's life and judge's life is very different. They are not only in the 10 to 5 in the court, but their actual work start at home. A lawyer, after going to the court, he work. The clients, his office opens in the evening. Clients come, then he prepares. Then he prepares the cases and so on. And the ladies sometimes may not get that much of time, and therefore many ladies, for girls, they prefer that 10 to 5 they will go to their firm office. They will deal with, and evening they can spend time with the children, and they can also take care of the family and have a good income. So non-litigation I recommend for the girls and this. But I'm not biased for the other leaders. They may go to the litigation. Then the another most important is foreign law firms.
Yes, sir.
Foreign law firms, this is a word is being used about the law firms and foreign law firms is a magical circle. Magical circle means who is that bright boy who can enter into magical circle. So if you can get Amarchand Mangaldas, you have entered into the magical circle. Similarly, when the foreign law firms in the country, they visit and they make certain recruitment from here, and they go to the America or England, and their package is almost around 80 lakhs per annum. So if a student just after doing law can earn about 80 lakhs per annum, this is what they earn as an intern. And after 2 years, when they pass their bar examination, they recruit them, take them as intern, and for 2 or 3 years they have to pass the examination. If they pass, they get much more money. In I know Herbert Smith, I referred to you, Allen and Overy is another. Now Singapore in Asia is also has become a huge arbitration hub. So people are going to the Singapore also. So this is all litigation law firm, and this is what I've said about the law. Then another important aspect is the service. It's not necessary. This is the free area which I said. Now in the service, the topmost is to become a judge.
Yes.
कि साहब मैंने लॉ कर लिया है, having passed law, now I want to become a judge. I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to be on chair. Now it has a 2-3 recruitment level. The first and foremost is that just after graduation, you appear for the provincial judicial services examination which are conducted. Unfortunately, they are not conducted every year like any other services. If they are conducted regularly, that will be very helpful. So you are appointed as a magistrate. Now additional civil judge additional civil judge, whatever it is the position. So they become chief judicial magistrate, and as an excellent career, they get a lot of facilities and a reputation in the society. A young man of 24, 25 years is a magistrate, and he go on, and he can travel right up to the district judge to high court judge and also. Another recruitment is higher judicial services in the province. So that is for the lawyers. 7 years of practice and about 35 years of age. Now they can appear for the examination, and a selection is made. They are directly appointed as additional district judge, and this. So this is the another recruitment. The third is not a recruitment, but is an offer. That is a judge in the High Court. A judge in the High Court is not a service, is a constitutional position where there is no selection process. A collegium, Chief Justice and 2 judges, if they consider here is in a particular lawyer of an eminence who should be offered a judgeship, then the judgeship is offered to them. I will not deal with, is a longer issue how judges are appointed, but the High Court judges, they become Chief Justice, they become Supreme Court judge. And some are from the district judge also are elevated as in High Court judge. From High Court, they go to the Supreme Court. So this is all a career and many people can member of the tribunal and so on. Many people, there are also examinations are conducted for the appointment of the public prosecutors. Then there are the law officers in the government, there are law officers in the PSU, public undertakings, etc. Now in the corporate sector also there is a huge demand with different manager law, general manager law, whatever it is. In corporate sectors they are there. They are also in the banks. So this is how in the services. But one thing is there, whether you are in the litigation or a service or anywhere you are, or a judge, but you must have in a deep knowledge of substantive law and the procedure law. Even if you are in a non-litigation area, you must know about it. The last one I will refer to is one of the most important area is academics.
Yes, sir. Please.
Brilliant career in academics. I know people who have achieved much higher than that, because my advantage when I remained a vice-chancellor, I came into contact with such people, amazing knowledge, and very simple people. But if you talk to them, there's a huge learning with them. So you start your careers as assistant professor, associate professor, and with the more and more law colleges now, and more and more law universities there, you have a chance to become a vice-chancellor and this. And most thing is now you can be a visiting professor lifelong. National Law Institute Jodhpur, I have Professor Messi, who is 84 years old. He is still teaching constitutional law, and students are fan of his teaching. They will not leave Professor Messi in no case. And he has all pleasure to teach. So Professor MP Singh is sometime in China, sometime where Professor Upendra Bakshi, these all people have crossed 80, 85, 86. Judge has retired 62, 63, they have gone, retired, have all gone. Magistrate has retired, everybody. Professors are professors, they are lifelong teachers. So
Yes, sir.
that great academics has also a brilliant career. Now, this is what I told you about. Yes.
Sir, one thing I want to add here, sir, you have opened a plethora of ocean of opportunities for younger generation, those who are studying in like commerce and humanities section, or even for sciences section. Now, after this interview, many people will opt for law as a career. So, kindly guide our viewers how to carefully select the law school. That's the basic issue these days, because exactly we don't know where to go for a law to become a law graduate. Exactly.
Exactly. Bhunesh, this is a very relevant issue, and this required to be addressed properly, because there is a lot of misunderstanding and misguidance in this area. So, number one, this is this is an investment.
Yes, sir.
You must look into it, because and your entire life is on it. Two things in life. One is that you opt for or you make a selection or choice who should be, where you should go in engineering, medical, business, trade, or law, or whatever. And that has to be very carefully done. And the another is to select the wife or the husband, whatever it may be the case, because they are the life partners for the life. Where are you going? So the one has to be very careful, cannot be simply emotional or this or that way. I will point out to you there are 4 or 5 points which should be noted, which should be, it is a total research work. It's not that since there is a CLAT, everybody is going and coaching, and so we will be going to the CLAT and law college. It's not that. Is a lot of research work has to be done for making a selection process. So there are 5 or 6, rather 7 points I will give it to you. You put to test to them. Every student, not a student. In this process, the parents, they are to invest time on it. and they are to make a research on it, and all interested people, mama वगैरह जो भी हों, whatever may be there, if they don't go, number one thing, don't advise anybody if you don't know the area. Many people, हमारे यहाँ क्या है कि ये राय ज़्यादा है, राय एकदम दे देते हैं. हमें यहाँ करमचंदी होने चाहिए, राय ज़्यादा नहीं चाहिए. कर्म करने वाले हों, ये राय देने वाले जिनको एरिया का मालूम नहीं है और वो चलते हुए राय दे देते हैं, उनसे बहुत दूर रहिए. दो चीज़ों से बड़ी मुझे है कि रायचंदियों से दूर रहिए और एक व्हाट्सएप यूनिवर्सिटी से दूर रहिए. ये इन दोनों एरिया से तो, एंड वन शुड नॉट गिव एन एडवाइस वेयर ही डज नॉट नो. And even if you know, it needs a lot of research in it.
Yes.
So number one, you must see the institutions, put them on what is the location of the institution where you want to go. Location has a various aspect, which every individual has their own concern about a location. Geographical location kahan hai. But one of the important thing, if you are choosing law, the availability of internship, availability of senior lawyers where you can do internship, law firms वगैरह कहाँ है, जहाँ where you can do. I can tell you, in traditional time, even in our time, most of the students were sent to go Bombay for the government law college. It's a government college. There is nothing extraordinary. But since Bombay has a good number of those days also law firms and good lawyers, so while studying law, they could learn a lot in the mullah and these firms and all these things. And therefore, the location first has to be seen कि कहाँ पर है ये institution. The another has to be point is the cost and finance. What is this cost? Is cost and what is its finance? And जरूरी नहीं है कि सबके जेब की हो, वो भी देखना पड़ेगा. That also the scholarship etc. whatever is awarded, that will cover the cost and finance also. Then academic program, that must be very carefully seen, which no everybody cannot see, which only expert can see, that whether this sort of academic program will be useful and he will acquire knowledge in this area. Then the most important, when I refer to the law firms and the placement program, placement record यहाँ का क्या है? ये है कि दुकान है, यहाँ का माल कौन उठाता है और इसकी रेपुटेशन है, यहाँ से माल उठता भी है कि नहीं उठता है यहाँ से. So that has to be seen. The placement record वहाँ का क्या है? Then you have to see alumni network. यहाँ के स्टूडेंट कहाँ निकले हैं और कहाँ पहुँचे हुए हैं और उनका नेटवर्क क्या है, उससे मालूम पड़ेगा कि भाई इस यहाँ से जाते हैं बड़ी बड़ी फर्म में. बिकॉज नाउ नेशनल लॉ स्कूल बैंगलोर और ओल्ड इवन जोधपुर comparatively they are our students have reached to now high position, so they have a alumni network. They prefer that, like, oh, LLU is my alumni institution, they will have a preference for them. And alumni contribute a lot. Not they contribute financially, and I know in our institutions alumni we are inviting, and they used to come to teach us. And many areas they send a letter, said this is the new era coming in, and now we don't have a teacher, and therefore I will be there for 15 days to teach this area. And therefore, what is the alumni network in us university ka kya hai? That you must understand. Then what is the reputation? What is its ranking? That must be seen. Or what is the student exposure? Student exposure is very necessary now. Because earlier there were few law NLUs and there was students from all over the country. Now with domicile reservation and these, now they all have been reduced to the regional universities. As I tell you, National Law University, Jodhpur, and those times when I was a Vice-Chancellor, now there were 7 or 8 universities throughout the country. So my NLU Jodhpur had a catchment area, huge catchment area, NLU Delhi was not there. Delhi, Punjab, Himachal, Odisha, Bombay, Jammu, Kashmir. So students were there, and so fantastic students and faculty were there from all. But now every state 22, so they all have been reduced. That NLU charm is gone now, and political and cheap demands of domicile reservation, and this all have gone. So now all have been reduced to the regional colleges now. So, but one most important thing which in research is required, your self-assessment. Admission लोगे लेकिन वहाँ का भार ढोलोगे कि नहीं? Will you be able to study of that level or भाग के आ जाओगे वहाँ से? So it is not only whether you will be able to go to those law firms where merger and acquisition and all issues they will have to deal with. And I tell you, so these are the things where you have to put on record. Now I tell you, these are the certain criteria. There may be more criteria on which you can consult on it. Now there are two courses available. One is 5-year law course, and another is a 3 years law course. 5-year law course is after 10+2, and it is a double degree course that BA LLB, BSc LLB, BBA LLB, or BCom LLB, whatever it may be. But whole thing is that after 10+2, you are in a tunnel of 5 years. You cannot come out. Though it is a 2+3 years course exactly. For 2 years you read the BA subject, political science, history, etc. Or subject, and 3 years you read the law also. But you cannot take a BA degree and get out. So for 5 years, you are there. Therefore, students should not run for 5-year law course. Personally speaking, I would suggest in a larger area, a 3 years law course more useful than the 5-year law course. Because 5-year law course should be adopted by only dedicated students who want to make a career in law firms or who can afford many things or who can go abroad or something. But if you are going for a ordinary practice in your own area, if Ajmer or Jodhpur or Jaipur, I don't understand what is the fun in entering into 5-year law course. You get your 3 years you study in college, acquainted with the people, and 3 years study law, then you have many friends all in a row. And what is the purpose after doing from Pune, you are coming to Jodhpur for 7 to 8 years, nobody knows you here. There's no purpose into it. But if you have gone to the National Law School, Bangalore or somewhere else, and you are in the top, and if you get 16 to 18 or 30 lakhs of rupees, that is fine. So therefore, you have to be very careful on it, that which 5 years course. And then there is a LLM also, I will hear, it's not a career option also. But it has a very practical advice that even in a law practice, LLM has nothing to do. Neither it is used for judgeship or anything, nor it is for practice. LLM is relevant only for the teaching. LLM is not useful even for the law firms or anything. But a law firm, LLM I consider useful from another aspect. Because LLM from a prestigious institution, you see all NLUs are making entry, are having LLM courses of 1 year. Ordinarily, you can't get admission, but for LLM, you can get easily those admissions. So you get in for a 1 year, even if you have done in 3 years law course from any of them. But if you have been 1 year in Bangalore Law School, you get an exposure and you learn the research work. I'm emphasizing research for the lawyer is whether you are in a law firm or you are in a litigation, research is very good. As a student, if you have done law there, you must be, your research skill is developed. And more particularly, even in NLU students, I know many of them, I'm in regular contact with them because they take my recommendation when they go to the foreign universities. The practical thing is that after 3 or 4 years, after doing law, immediately they get enrolled as a lawyer. Then they go to the law firm or a senior lawyer's office for 4 to 5 years, earn certain money, and then go abroad for 1 year LLM. That will have a good exposure. And good thing is that in foreign university, you develop your research skill. That is emphasis on research skill. It's not on a classroom teaching in most of the foreign. It is how you develop your research skill, which requires in the law firm, which requires in the litigation. And therefore, it is very useful. Now, in our country, in India, you have mono universities. Mono university means a university on a particular subject only. So when you say law university, and the another are multidisciplinary universities where the law is one of the department there. And I know when we started in 1983, started talking of 5-year law course and the law university, people were laughing at us. What is there in law to read for 5 years? And what a university can be there for law only. So anyway, but now there are about 22 NLUs where the entry is made through CLAT, All India Common Law Test, what is known as. So they every year they conduct, now they are twice a year something, and the merit is made, and according to the merit, the admissions are made. And personally speaking, I feel that there is no purpose if a student from Jodhpur or Udaipur is going to Odisha or Patna, or after 5 years coming here, is spending 12 lakhs of rupees. Expenditure of an NLU is around 10 to 15 lakhs rupees for 5 years. So, and if you are to come, you are going for only for a practice, what is the purpose of it? I don't understand it. Because the most of the placement of category 1, which I said 1 or 2 is done from the top universities or from lower ranking universities where you are a topper.
Okay, sir.
Out of 200, if you are a topper, they may consider you for it. So that's why I said the self-assessment is there. Now I can tell you what is the important with what is the specialization of NLUs. The specialization of NLUs is that is their pedagogy. Pedagogy is that it is not the lecture system where they are being taught. Lectures are there, but mostly it is by case method or a problem method they are being taught. That is really very important. So, and you have a cosmopolitan atmosphere you get, but now with the reducing to the regional colleges, that cosmopolitan character will go. So this is all about the then you have central universities. Central universities are highly prestigious universities like Delhi University. It's not difficult. You can get an admission elsewhere in law, but in the Delhi University law faculty admission is very difficult. Delhi University, yeah, BHU, Aligarh, Kolkata, they are the advantage there is they are have a very, very matured professors, and your guidance is top. You won't find even a National Law School, Bangalore, the mature professors as you find in Delhi University. In fact, Delhi University has given the largest Vice-Chancellor. All professors have become Vice-Chancellors in the National Law Universities elsewhere, or they are coming from Aligarh or BHU. So the option of if I get an admission in a central university like DU or BHU or Aligarh, I will be more happy than going to NLU, Odisha or anywhere else. So then it comes to the state universities. So all it can be, there may be government affiliated colleges, private colleges as you have. So this is all about, then you have a private universities. In India, we have few private universities. One of the top is OP Jindal University. A global university is there. And I may tell you, this is one of the, is one among the 10 universities of eminence. So, and The advantage with this university is one of the costliest university in the country. That way, the expenditure of 5 years may run into 40 to 50 lakh is there. But Professor Rajkumar, who is the Vice-Chancellor, he is a visionary, and he is a product of DU, but he has been a Harvard or Oxford professor. So a lot of foreign professors and they are there, and is a huge exposure is there with this. Then you have Amity and some colleges, Symbiosis, as Pune or Bharati Vidyabhan. So this is all in our country. Then I may refer to some of the foreign countries also, foreign universities. If you look to the foreign universities for law, the Cambridge, Oxford, Harvard, or Yale, Berkeley, these are things. But their admissions are made through LNET or LSET or LNET or GRF or a Cambridge examination. They all conduct their examinations. You pass through, then only you can be admitted. But one has to be very careful while going to the foreign universities, because there are a number of foreign universities. They are very exceptional top universities, because it is a huge business, and they are attracting Indian students now for various reasons, because they want money. So admission in a foreign university is not difficult. You spend money and go there. But if you get a admission in Cambridge or Oxford or in Harvard, that is really important. And therefore, if you are not going selected to a highly prestigious universities, because if you are going to Cambridge or Harvard or Oxford, you get around the Indian currency internship after 3 years for a crore of rupee. In that, so they selected the best brain. It's not that way that we can be. But if in UK, if you are you say sab America, England पढ़ने चला गया है, but if the university is not that, because the same law firms and litigation there, it is only the top. In India also, it is the top 4, 5. It is also worldwide top 4, 5. If you are there, is okay. Otherwise, not. It is. So these are the all about the. You have to make a choice from all these areas which I said about.
Yes, sir. Today I thank from the depth of my heart, sir. You spared a lot of time for this channel, Bhunesh Mathur. एंड मैं ये सोचता हूँ कि हमारे सारे सवालों का जवाब बहुत ही लूसिडली आपने हमको समझाया है। लॉ का फील्ड कैसा है, आज जो व्यूअर्स हैं हमारे स्टूडेंट्स भी जो 11th और 12th में हैं और पेरेंट्स भी हैं, काफी उनको फायदा होगा आपकी जो आपने इतना इसको बहुत ही सरलता से हमको लॉ का पूरा बैकग्राउंड समझाया है। सर हम लोग वी आर कॉमन मैन, हम लोग ये समझते थे कि वकील साहब है, जज साहब है, आपने जैसा बीच में बोला, बट यू सी आपने इतनी सारी एवेन्यूज हमको लॉ की बताई है। आई थिंक दिस इंटरव्यू विल बी वेरी फ्रूटफुल अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड सर। मिलियन थैंक्स सर वंस अगेन, एंड प्लीज डू कीप वंस अगेन कमिंग टू भुवनेश माथुर चैनल सर। Million thanks from our viewer side also.
I will give you, Bhunesh, 2 or 3 things I want to tell you.
Yes, sir.
But tell the students whether they are going in law or going anywhere else, maybe going into engineering or medical or in a business anywhere, 4 or 5 points should be noted.
Yes,
Number
sir.
1, the health should be the top priority. They must take care. If nothing can be done at the cost of care, और तो बच्चों को रोज जो है कम से कम योगा करना चाहिए और टाइम पे उठे ना उठे लेकिन और कुछ न कुछ खेल टेनिस वगैरह खेलना बहुत ज़रूरी है। और दूसरा ये है कि ये टेक्नोलॉजी का खूब यूज़ करें।
Yes.
और you get lot of information on internet is wonderful.
Yes.
लेकिन मिसडायरेक्ट नहीं हो। ये व्हाट्सएप यूनिवर्सिटी जो पॉइजनस इंफॉर्मेशन देता है, मिसलीडिंग इंफॉर्मेशन देते हैं और
Yes, sir.
जो पे टाइम खराब ना करें इसके ऊपर। और तो क्या कह सकते हैं, और पॉजिटिव अप्रोच लाइफ में रखें, और आई विश ऑल देम ऑल द बेस्ट. थैंक यू वेरी मच टू बी विद
Thank you,
यू.
sir. Thank you, sir. Once again, million thanks. Regards. Thank you.